the story begins. Derek Sousa was born in 1995 at Toronto General Hospital. It was a big day for his family and his friends. For all of them, they didn't really know what was coming of Derek for the future of times. But Derek knew in a few years, once he got to a certain age, he had almost an idea of what he wanted to do for his life. In the year 2005, things started to get a kickstart to the program. Years before that, Derek at various different birthday parties and different events, he would always be goofing around in front of a camera. At the time, his family didn't know really what was coming from it, but they had an idea that maybe he was really just interested in all the different camera functionalities and all of its features. It turns out that's what it was. Years later, he now likes to do film editing and various different projects. A couple years later came, and then he got involved in the RC vehicles. At the time before that, he was doing the RC planes with his father. Although he didn't really know how far he was going to take him, his father was convinced that maybe that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, so RC started with me way back when I was a young boy. I was always involved in RC. I used to build the model airplanes. I used to build also the boats, the speed boats. So yeah, I was always involved in RC, and then it was natural for Derek to be involved with it, because I also wanted him to get into the airplanes. He tried it a few times. You know, he was starting to become really good into it, and he was just approaching to get his wings, but then he didn't have that drive, that interest that you can see when somebody's really interested in something. So I used to ask him, like, Derek, what is your interest? Because it doesn't look like you really enjoy doing and flying the airplane. He says, I don't know, I think I like the cars. I said, cars? How many times can you go up and down with cars, with the RC cars? Like, that's no fun. And he said, no, I want to race it at a track. So we got involved. What I did is I was also involved in RC helicopters. I traded and sold all the RC helicopters for cars, and that's how we got into the cars.
Now at the time, his father was starting to gain an interest on it, in becoming a racing aspect to it. That's what Derek wanted to do. He wanted to race.
He was always out of the house pretty much every single weekend to go fly these planes. And Derek tried it, and he liked it, but it wasn't so much his thing. Then his father one time decided, said, okay, you know what, then let's try cars, RC cars. And then they started to do that, and they got more and more involved, and it's been over 10 years that Derek has been doing that. And now his younger brother is also involved in it, and they are between Derek and Mark, even though Mark is the youngest driver in Canada. Derek is one of the top drivers in Canada. So we are extremely proud of them. Of course, there's a lot of time consuming, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of, but that also we try to make it fun, because that's what, that's kind of part of our holidays, because we get to go everywhere with them. Because as far as last year, they went to Phoenix, Arizona, which is something that we never been there. We never been as far as that, and we absolutely loved it. So we kind of made as a fun trip out of it, and we got to enjoy them doing one of their best performances, and so we're deeply proud of them.
We now go to commercials. Here is an advertisement.
as the years were passing by too, I started to become a lot better. I started to learn a lot more about the vehicle part to it, how important qualifying was, how important my practice was, and how important it was to carry it out for the win in the main. Throughout the time, though, it was a very tough process. A lot of work went into it, a lot of practicing on the simulator late at night, a lot of just going out to practice tracks and making out late hours from that too. It's really difficult. It's really difficult for any sport you really do. A lot of hard work goes into it. A lot of people don't see it, the behind the scenes stuff. So years had gone by and I was starting to make a name for myself. And then finally, in the next coming years between 2011, 2012, and 2013 to this present day, I'm starting to do really well. People are starting to notice my resume right now.
And Derek had switched from various different vehicles and sponsorships. Sponsorships was a key word, as that's what he was starting to gain in the year of 2008. Precision Hobbies, at the end of that year, was giving him a sponsorship. Victor Garcia was a supplier for this company. He gave Derek a sponsorship, giving Derek a chance. He knew he had potential. In 2009, Derek proved that, finishing third overall in the Truggy class in the Gloric series. Derek was starting to make a name for himself, and from this point on, he was starting to really go for it.
Throughout these years as well, I was trying to incorporate what I love to do, which was filming and editing, into what my profession, what I wanted to be my future career, which was RC. For this to happen though, it was very difficult. I had to change the way I filmed in terms of, I used to film like different stuff like weddings, like small weddings that my parents used to go to and I used to film now. But it really changed everything of how I really wanted to do it. And to do RC, it's a fast motion sport, just like Formula One, just like all the other fast motion sports, are racing sports. So it's really difficult to really find what I needed to do to make my editing better, to make my filming and my shooting and different sequences and shots better. So for me to do this, it was pretty difficult. And I tried to just make it as enjoyable as possible. And the first few years I did it, didn't work out so good. Finally in 2012 came, and I started to become a lot better with editing, a lot better with my shot sequences, and then it started to come out really good.
Throughout the years of 2010, 2011, he was always trying to make more improvements. Although he didn't really understand much functionalities to the vehicle, he was just good at the driving part. That's what he needed to do. His dad, all his RC career, up to the present day, is just his mechanic. Derek just does the driving. From his view, he didn't really know a lot of the different capabilities of the vehicle, or a lot of different setup features. Through these 2 years, 2010, 2011, was hard years for Derek. He experienced some success in the Truggy class, but was feeling very frustrated in the Buggy class, as he could not finish out a good overall AMA position.
Yeah, those couple of years were definitely tough for me. I was always struggling with Buggy. I was always trying to get better positions, but there would always be silly mistakes I would make or mechanical failures that would happen all the time, and it just wasn't working out. And I remember in 2011, just one of the worst years for that in Buggy. I had a lot of DNFs, and it just wasn't looking so good. And in the Truggy class, I was kind of benefiting from some success, but for Buggy, things needed to change.
to our first track, which was called Hardcore RC in Flamborough, Ontario. And that's it, Derek was hooked. And then after a year, his little brother joined also. His little brother joined in the RC. And slowly from there, Derek raced, and we used to go to the States, United States. We used to go down to Montreal, different parts of Ontario, like Windsor, the northern part of Ontario, the southern part of Ontario. So we've explored a lot because of the RC. And our family has been already involved in 8 years now in the RC, and we're basically the RC family.
His worst races, or at least his worst thought of races, was at Tilsonburg. Each year, starting from 2009, he made the A-Main Trophy. In Buggy, he would always struggle, and in 2011, it made that secure, as in 2011 he struggled with JK Products Buggy. He had a very frustrating time qualifying in the D-Main. From that, he did eventually get the bump, went to the C-Main, but they ran into mechanical issues. His weekend was cut short from the Buggy C-Main, although in the truck too, he did okay. He finished fifth.
Rapidly. They go over the hill, over the double.
You felt your
There's a hair over the sprint, but here's the blue hung up. There's a little spinner through the triple. Today's the start better over the waves and press on the scoring. It's not quite there yet. Awesome battle for the lead between Sousa and Angel right now over the hill. Sousa stretches it slightly. Shines it over the trip. Today's a perfect over the trip. This is where Fernandez needs to make up time. Over the wall, Sousa now for Angel. Sousa slipped through with that time. Fernandez is not making as much ground. But there's a little trouble with the single double. White and blue, followed by white, orange, and purple.
I'll get you up, you film on.
Put that name, he is up 210 in. Today's getting closer now. They're going over the road this time. Today's it closes in. Over the single double. Sousa stretches slightly over the circle, but Today's closing in again in the corner. White and blue versus white, orange, and purple. Over down the hill. Sousa over the double, hands over the double, down the triple. Purple to over the triple. Through the flip back. Today's a roll, pressure, Sousa now. Sousa back. Sousa high. Sousa rolls his hands and ball. He's back on the stairs. Over the single double. Yeah, race on the fairway. Today's against the barrel, but Sousa's not done yet. He's on the car.
Relax, Derek, relax. Keep it tight and eat and smooth.
Sousa hot on his heels. Over the triple. Fernandez in the horn darts it. Sousa makes up some time.
Wait.
Sousa right off the head. He's going by. The kid goes. Sousa right on the single double. Five on the ball. It's not there. Twice he backs out. It's Fernandez, Sousa, Carissa. Big gap between first, second, and third. Sousa's wins wide. He's able to run. Fernandez goes inside the flip back. It's not there.
Keep it tight, Derek, keep it tight.
He's on the right. He's up on his point.
Oh, he screwed up there.
10 down, 5 to go.
At this time now, he also had the Mugen Truggy. You can see clearly he wanted to run the Mugen Buggy as well, and be full-on Mugen Seiki sponsored driver. In 2012, this finally became a reality.
Performing his victory lap as he comes through the chicane. Congratulations, Derek Sousa takes this one. He's entering into two.
From this, then he started to gain his success. In 2012, he won HRC Series from Buggy and Trugging, and also won the RC Pro Series in the Trugging cab, and also had a couple of good finishes in United States races. From this point on, Derek was starting to finally do well.
Finally in 2012, I finally got some success from all of my hard work. I guess finally paid off. I finally went all Mugen safety with my buggy and truck, and that's when things started to turn around for me. And then that year, I started to do really well and have good positions and have good finishes, and I was finishing all of my races. And from that point, things were starting to look good.
Throughout all these years, Christmas was also an important factor for Derek. He loved the festivities, he loved the joy that went along with it, and he loved the celebration of the birth of Christ.
Tony, a little bit of cheer.
Prendi un cinese.
Hey, to Nicholas.
Yes, de que je
To Nicholas from a Voo and a Voo.
Thank you.
What is that? Just save it in there, Nicholas.
You're welcome.
Did you open up your present from Boo Boo and Boo?
So Derek, when Derek was small, he was always goofing around cameras. Like you couldn't see a video camera. Every time you would see a video camera, you'd be like, wah, wah, always goofing around. But he was always very interested in it, and we could tell that he was that was gonna become part of his future.
With all the success Derek had in 2012, 2013 was sure to be a good year. But then it came. He proved it again. In 2013, again he won the HRC Series for Buggy and Truck classes, finished second in division for RC Pro Buggy and Trugging, and had a good finish down in the States for the KQ Pro Buggy at the Mugen Challenge. This was another good season for Derek, and he was looking to build upon for 2014. As he would look ahead to the CRC in January, and in February would come the annual The Dirt Nitro Challenge. He would hope to have better finishes than he did the season before that, but it was definitely looking good. For the future, Derek will always aspire to be a better person, friend, family member, companion. Because without all these components, you will never be able to dream.